Hello, and welcome to Unscheduled Flights, exploring the realms of inspiration, innovation, and creativity. I'm your host, Ambika Waters, and I welcome you to this podcast and hope you find it as interesting as I do. Hello, everyone. I'm Ambika Waters, your host for Unscheduled Flights, where we explore creativity, innovation, and inspiration. And we're blessed today to have an amazing woman who I think you'll all enjoy meeting. This is my colleague and friend, EUGENIE KRUGER, who lives in Western Australia. She is a homeopath and a brilliant organizer. She has brought so many people to the attention of the world. Her podcast is it number one, EUGENIE? Number in the
Wow, it's in the top 1% of all
top
podcasts
1%.
globally. Yeah.
Yeah, that's an extraordinary feat. So let me present EUGENIE KRUGER. Say hello to the folks.
Oh,
And
thanks, Ambika. It is just such a wonderful opportunity. Any opportunity to chat with you is a wonderful opportunity. So I'm
yes,
just happy you get to hang out.
thank you. It's a pleasure to have you here. I want to say how impressed I am with your ability to pull things together. You are a true manifester. You bring people to your work, you bring people to homeopathy. You have the most organized and beautiful website I have ever come across in homeopathy. It's so easy to negotiate. It's a very clear channel to get remedies, to understand what's going on. You're very, very clear. And I really want to congratulate you on that because
Oh,
a lot of homeopaths really resist even having a website. And I always
oh.
refer to you. You have to see EUGENIE's website. It's inspiring, truly, to have something that clear. You know, if you want a remedy, you go to right there, it
Oh.
pops up, you purchase it, it gets put in the post, and it arrives at your house sooner rather than later. I love your website. I know your husband's
You.
attached.
All credit goes to my husband. He does the website and he is constantly working on it, trying to make it a bit more effective and a bit clearer. And so absolutely all of that. So and when you say I'm a good organizer, I'm actually a really, really bad organizer. I'm just
I
really
don't believe it.
good at getting amazing people around me. So I have lots of ideas and I have incredible people around me that make those ideas, that put those ideas into practice. And I think I'm just really stubborn. So when I want something done, I usually find a way of making it happen. So my husband would say,
You
I'm very, very stubborn. I make it happen. Yeah.
But you know,
Especially,
your website is just a gift. Your
oh, thank
website
you.
and your podcasts are really inspiring. They're
Oh,
learning a lot about homeopathy and homeopaths around the world. And I felt really honored to be on your podcast and to share my work with your network. And it just continues that we meet up and we have a chat, we record it, and it goes out. But
yeah.
you've brought so much knowledge and wisdom to the
Are you
table.
trying to make me cry?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
No,
It's
I'm
actually
not.
very lovely to hear. Thank you so
I
much. It
just want you
has,
to know how much I
thanks.
admire what you do, and how you do it is inspiring, with a lot of grace, always with a smile on your face, and always willing to move forward. And it's really something special. And today I'd like to talk about personal development, because I think it's a very necessary tool for homeopaths, for practitioners, for doctors, anybody in the health field. I've always said you can never take a person deeper than you're willing to go yourself in your own development. And you just don't stop. Either do I. Either do I. I believe that we have to really work on ourselves in order to be of service to people. So I'd like to have you share your views about personal development and how you look at things like therapy, body work, spiritual development. Those things are really important for practitioners. And I'd love to share that with my network as well. So I turn this over to you.
Yeah, well, when you mentioned that just before we started recording, I couldn't help but just marvel at the synchronicity as always that On just 2 days ago, we talked about self-reflection with our new cohort of CHE homeopathy students. And it was really interesting hearing everyone else's thought. It was more kind of like a discussion, hearing what everyone else does as well. But it's funny because I just went to check if I've still got the slide up, but my slide that I had up was you can never take anyone further than you have gone yourself. And it was
Oh,
a
you're
Carl,
kidding.
yeah, no, I'm not kidding. It's a Carl Jung. Apparently that saying is accredited to him.
Feeling that's
Um,
right.
yeah, so that was the slide that I had up. So I had a
How
quick little squiz to
funny.
see if I could screen share with you if I've still got it up. That is actually the saying that drives me is as healers, we cannot ever take our clients any further than we have gone ourselves.
That's
And
right.
I have witnessed that in my practice where
Mhm.
I've taken a client to a certain point and you give them a remedy and it opens them up and suddenly they have these amazing breakthroughs and then they don't come back for a while. And literally after years, I've realized it's because they've outgrown me. Because then I might then go and do some personal development, and then they might come back to me. And so it's not just that saying is not just for me a saying. For me, it's a lived experience where clients
Yes,
have outgrown me, and then I've gone and done work, and then they have come back because it is just all about resonance, and they're not on that resonance anymore. And so they go and resonate with somebody else, and then you get yourself up to that level, and then they come and join you. So. I actually have had to do a lot this year. I think, what do you reckon, Mbika? I feel like this year has been a big one. I mean, feel
oh,
like I've been saying it's been a big one for a few years now, but I really feel like this year has sped up massively.
huge shifts in consciousness,
Yeah.
huge shifts in energy that it's just, I don't know. I saw a lot of people get more grounded, truly grounded, and very committed and very willing to do the deep work where I
Mm,
hadn't seen it. It's almost like if you don't do it, you're going to fall through the cracks. If you don't do the work and
mm,
really harvest out your negativity and your doubt, your cynicism, whatever it is that holds you back from pure joy and pure connection with spirit, you're going to fall through the cracks. And maybe that's why people are compelled to get on the bandwagon, for
mm,
want of a better word. But yes, it's been a
absolutely.
daunting year and a very intense year.
Mm,
And I don't think it's getting any lighter, quite frankly. I think 2026 is going to be even more intense.
mm. So, and I think the way that we kind of meet that intensity is through self-reflection and personal development and constantly doing the inner work. I don't think it's something that you ever stop doing. Why
Um,
would, well, I
why
don't
would you
know.
stop?
Why would you stop? No, I mean, it's so tough while you're going through it, but the insights is always worth it. I've had two mentors that I've engaged this year. One when I started the school and I realized I need to step into, well, I didn't start it. It's CHE has been running for 30 years in the UK. I've just started the branch here in Australia and New Zealand. And I've realized the role that I have to step into now as principal to hold space for others is is completely different space that I've never been into. So I very quickly jumped on it and had a local lady here that we met up in person and she did a lot of mentoring with me and made me do all sorts of things I felt wildly uncomfortable doing, like shouting the word love, like very loudly, and whispering the word love, and
Mm,
I was like, I just
I,
felt so like awkward, and I couldn't actually believe when she made me do it how uncomfortable that made me feel, shouting the word love like 10 times really loudly, and I'm like, wow, that should not feel this uncomfortable for me. Why is it feeling that uncomfortable? And just working through those things through meditation and through visualization. And I mean, I've talked a lot with you this year as well, which has really helped me. I've gone through quite a few just little tough things, but I make life hard for myself because I'm an Aries. I often say things without thinking. And like I always say, I say first and I think later. It's like there's no filter between my brain and my mouth. And also because I'm a projector in human design, I see the world quite differently. And I'm quite, I don't know. This combination of things just get me into trouble, which then means I have to do a lot of self-reflection
I
and
don't
and
think,
a lot of personal
I don't,
development to kind of figure out why did I feel the need to say it in that way? Why did I do that? Could I look at things a different way? So for me, it's a ongoing daily process.
it is a daily process. And I think that's how we grow. I think that if
Yeah.
we, if we try to blot that part of ourselves out, with the endless things, just TV and, too much sugar or I don't know, the endless things that we can use to not feel.
Yeah.
I think that we grow through these incidences. And I've seen you grow. I've seen you really look deeply and assess your needs and what you feel is the next best step. And I want you to know how much I really admire you because I don't often see people working it through. I'm not that kind of a therapist. And when I was that kind of a therapist, what I saw mostly was the resistance to working things through. Everybody wants
Mm.
to project blame, and it's always mom and dad's fault, and or somebody did it to me. It's like, come over the victimhood and take responsibility. You just jump right in there as an Aries and take responsibility, and you get through it really quickly. That's the other thing. You don't lag behind. You just take a big bite and
I
jump in
think I've just been
and you
lucky
get
having
it.
amazing people around me like you, Ambika. I mean, I've drawn a lot on your wisdom this year, and like it's
Well,
picking your
thank
emails with this and that, and it's been really wonderful, and having some other amazing homeopaths and people in my life that have helped. I think the thing that helped me the most was 17 years ago. I don't know if I ever told you the story, but my
you.
husband and I got engaged a week after we met, and we got married 6 weeks later. And
Wow,
that
good
was
on
17
you.
that was 17 years ago. But the thing that I think really did that is a month before he met me, he did a course called Landmark Education. And
Mhm.
apparently it's changed a lot. I mean, people have called it a cult and all sorts. I can understand
No,
why
no, it's
because
brilliant. It's
I can
brilliant.
understand why they say that because the breakthroughs that you have when you have that, you can never go back to the old you. And so
Oh,
you start telling that to everyone because you're so excited about it. And then people go like, what? That must be a cult because you take personal responsibility for everything that's happened in your life.
everything,
And
everything.
that is so empowering because then you're not a victim anymore and you can change these things. But so he did that a month before he met me. Then he forced me to do that a month after we got married. I did
Good
it.
for you. Good.
And then
Yes.
6 months after that, we did the advanced course together. So the principles of Landmark, we always 17 years later still come back to because you can imagine how hard it is being married to somebody that you've only known for 6 weeks. There's a lot of things that come up that you probably wouldn't have married that person if you knew that. So
Well, you
we've
get
had
to
a
find out, don't you? You get to find out who's in that body. Yeah.
yeah, well also he's a Scorpio, so he's not afraid to go deep. Like he's not afraid of the deep and the
They live
scary
in the depths.
emotions.
They live in
They
the depths.
do. They really do. And so we've gone through a lot and we've moved countries 3 times, in 17 years as well. So together
Wow.
we have done a lot together and kept each other on track and kept each other honest. And,
Yeah.
kind of instead of, they talk about rackets in Landmark, like, that's a racket, what are you truly feeling? Like, what's truly happening? Like, so we keep each other honest. And I think that really helps as well if you've got a partner that's the same. I'm sure Tony is that for you as well.
Well, we're old folks, so we're we're skilled. We're skilled in finding out what's going on with the other. This is
Mm,
not young people trying to discover who they're married to. It's,
yeah.
we're tried and tested, but it's still that depth you want to go to. What is the truth? What is your truth and what matters to you? I did EST, which was a precursor of the training you did, and it
Ah.
same thing, take responsibility for everything
Mm,
that's happened in your life and own it. And I had been doing personal development work in communities in Spain and later in America. But the thing about those trainings, there are hundreds of people in the training, and everybody's got a unique story about their racket. And it's to be in that kind of energy where people are opening and they're sharing and they're coming to their truth. It's very dynamic and it
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 is.
leaves, you're right, it leaves an indelible mark on you. I sometimes think that homeopathy could have that effect on people if they were open to the experience of
Mm.
self-inquiry. I think some of the really great homeopaths I've met in my life are very aware people, not opinionated and not prejudiced against therapy. I once heard a Canadian homeopath say that he really didn't believe in therapy, and I thought, Are you kidding? Where would
Wow.
you be without it? I mean, there are people you'll say to, I'm going to give you this remedy and it's going to have an effect on you on your mental and emotional level. And if you find it challenging, please see a therapist,
Mm.
and
Absolutely.
absolutely. I mean, the narcissism of thinking that we can do it all ourselves and do it
Mm.
all alone. But more and more, I see that people really need self-inquiry.
Mm.
Practitioners need it because people are sicker than they've ever been. They're challenged politically, they're challenged physically, they're challenged in having to deal with what's presented to them on what, like the COVID vaccine.
Mm.
Do I take it? Do I not take it? What happens if I don't take it? What happens if I do take it?
Mm.
And we needed a way, I felt as homeopaths, to be very honest with people without being dogmatic, without saying, oh, if you have it, you're going to die, or, I mean,
Mm.
not to scare people, but to give them informed choice.
Mm.
It takes a lot of presence. It takes a lot of presence to just be vulnerable, tell people, "Oh, well, I don't have all the answers," or even that you're frightened sometimes.
Mm.
I didn't realize how frightened I was till I retired. No kidding.
That's
I didn't
interesting.
realize that I'd been carrying 35 years of, am I doing the right thing? That kind of fear.
Mm.
Am I doing the right thing with this person, with this remedy? And I suppressed it. Boy, I was magical at suppressing my own fear and doubt. And when I retired, it started to come up. And it was like, whoa, did I suppress all that? Even with a lot of therapy and a lot of supervision. And I mean, I never, ever was without supervision, never, ever without some form of counsel that I could turn
Mm.
to. I knew
Mm.
that from having been a therapist before I was a homeopath. But boy, was it a big surprise. It was, and we need to be able to put our feelings on the table,
Mm.
assess them, evaluate them, and not judge them.
Mm.
Not judge them. And if we get that, I feel that what we share with our clients is that they're free to feel their feelings too.
Mm.
You know,
Absolutely. It's
it's
the
a
same thing. So it comes back to the same thing. We can't take them further than we've gone ourselves. But
no,
also in some psychology and in some countries, psychologists have to do X amount of therapy themselves per year.
good,
And
good.
it would be amazing if that was something that was more normalized in homeopathy, because I don't know that we talk about that too much. I'm just sitting here trying to think of how many homeopaths I've talked to recently that have said that they have a mentor, even the ones that have, like, I don't know, do you think after so many years of practice
Oh,
that after 20 or 30 or 40 years you don't need a mentor anymore? Or do you think you
no,
always
no, I think I'll always need a I always will have a mentor when it comes to working with other people.
Yeah.
Even with my artwork, I have a mentor. She's older than me. She's been in the art field for years, and she's very wise and has great counsel. But the investment is not the same as dealing with another person's soul. And when you
Mm,
work with people, you come to that soul level. I always had a mentor. I always had a therapist, a mentor, a supervisor, whatever you want to call it, that I could turn to. And I needed it. I really did need it. I needed it for my
mm,
self-confidence. It helped me grow. It helped me have more clarity about what I was doing. And it
mm,
wasn't just about the medicine, it was about me. It was about my own prejudices. I saw a few times I had judgment about people. You
mm.
hear a story and all of a sudden you're going, whoa, who would do that? You know,
Yeah,
and it's
we've all done
it's an
that.
internal thing. And you might give the right remedy, but you will never make the right soul connection if you're judging people, if you're
Yeah.
prejudiced. The hardest thing I ever had to learn in homeopathy was unconditional love.
Mm,
It took me till I think when I finally got it was when I was able to retire. No kidding. It took me a long, long time.
mm,
I would see people who had endless boosters shots from the COVID,
mm,
or had one medication for 20 years on a daily basis that created so much disharmony in their, vital force. And And I would judge them, like, how could you do that? How did you not?
Mm,
It was in the back of my head. When I finally got to just let people be who they are and love them for who they are, my whole life changed.
yeah.
And it was a process. It was a process of, first of all, meeting people who could love unconditionally. Very
Mm,
few, very, very
mm,
few. And then it wasn't about the remedy anymore. It was really about my capacity to hold somebody at that level. It was a huge
absolutely.
change for me and for them, because the pathology that people create comes out of not being loved unconditionally. 9 times out of 10, it may be
Mm,
miasmatic to a point, but the psychology of people's lives is that they haven't been loved unconditionally. And if they get that experience once in their life, then maybe they're willing to let go.
mm,
That's just my take on it. But I
mm.
want to hear more about you and your development, because you're really a queen in homeopathy in my book. You are
You crack
kind.
me up.
No, no, I've met
Oh, that's so funny.
people who
I
judged me, or people who were
mm,
less than kind, or who were highly competitive or jealous, or it's like, really,
mm. I've
really.
done all those things, Ambika, and I still, that's why I don't, I find it hard to take that on because I've done all that and I still do it. And even just recently, I found myself, there's a school who do things in a complete, like a way that I would never personally do it. And instead of just accepting it, I was judging it and I got myself completely worked up about it.
Oh, I know, it's
And
terrible.
it was, and I'm like, I would never do, like, I can't understand. And do you know what? I'm finally at a place where I'm like, it's not my place to judge. Like, at the end of the day, everybody does, hopefully, does things with, well, they're not, probably not with the best intention, but I've come to a place of acceptance where really it is not my place to judge. And also, I think this role of stepping into to a principal role, I've just realized I need to be in a place where of love and acceptance and not judgment. So I find it hard to take that on board because I do still judge and I do still, but I'm constantly trying to work on that. And also the thing that propels me forward is the amount of things in my life that I'm doing now that I said I would never do. One, I was like, my kids will never watch TV or eat chocolate, like,
Right,
wow, we won't talk
right,
about that now.
right.
But
Oh,
but
that's
also in
funny.
homeopathy, like I was trained very classically, so I always said I would never, you don't use combination remedies, they suppress
Tell
and this
me.
and that. I have created over 100 combination remedies
Me
myself,
too.
and I've
Me
had so
too.
many amazing feedbacks from clients. I'll never forget the first one of putting together this remedy for a painful period mix and thinking, oh, I wonder how this is going to go. I put it out there in the world and you wait in anticipation. And you start getting testimonials of like my lifelong painful periods are cured. And I'm like, how? How did that even work? Or mega potencies or radionics. I said I would never use radionics. Now get mind-blowing results. I don't know
Good,
how, but
good.
and so there's new things that's coming up in homeopathy that's really challenging me. And so my first reaction, I'll be like honest and vulnerable here, was to judge it and go, no, that's not how it's done. And it has actually taken me much longer than what I would like to admit to realize, this could be the thing, the new best thing that actually in a few years' time you go, oh, I never said I'd do it and now I do. So there's been big lessons this year for me, just in bringing my energy back to myself and just
Yeah.
not stressing about other people doing. I was just showing you before this the French violet that I've been triturating. It's on C4. I'm hoping to do C5 with today or tomorrow. But that little flower, holy moly, has helped me so much. And as I was triturating it, I felt like my kind of force field around me was just extending, extending, extending. And where all these voices and things and judgment and anger felt like it was right here in my face and in my ear and all right here. And it was consuming me. And as I was triturating it, I could just feel it all being very far away.
How lovely. How
And
lovely.
so I do think that we need to include like triturations and provings as part of our personal development because a lot of things come up for us during a trituration proving. I recently, or even just taking a remedy.
Well,
Re,
taking a remedy or doing any kind of approving, it all comes up. It's amazing.
yeah,
It's amazing.
I did. I took the Maria Magdalena remedy that Reita Poyoinen and Elise Timmerman and Janie Lavelle made. I went to France. They did the pilgrimage and made the remedy. I took the remedy a few months ago, and I think my husband and I almost got divorced after that remedy. But also, I was starting to become quite perimenopausal, and this remedy just brought everything up. And it was like after in the healing of that, it was just the most beautiful thing. And I think my husband and I have like leveled up after that because there was just some things that I don't even realize that I was maybe suppressing and but just maybe not spending enough time talking about things because our lives are so busy. And so this remedy brought it all up for us to heal. And it was just the most beautiful thing. And so I just want to say, I think taking homeopathic remedies, doing
Yeah.
provings and triturations all needs to be part of your personal development because the remedies will bring up unhealed parts in
Oh,
yourself for you to look
unbelievable.
at. So it's like
Unbelievable.
supercharging your personal development.
Well, it is personal development. It is a absolutely. The remedies will bring it up. And I spend a lot of time in my private practice of just saying to people, stuff's going to come up and just let it come up, bless it, forgive it, and let it move on. Let it flow through you. And, there were times people would take some very heavy duty remedies and the stuff would come up. And the best thing I saw was that people were able to deal with their stuff. They learned how to deal with it rather than shove it down, swallow it. And that's part of growth. I think homeopathy was probably the best thing I could have done in my life to grow up and mature and become who I am today. It's not just about youthing and having the vitality and the strength. It's about having overcome obstacles that were big, that were in my face that I didn't know how to deal with. And I had some great counsel. I had some very one woman, I've worked with her for over 20 years. I never saw her. We worked on the phone, only on the phone. I
Wow.
never laid eyes on her in 20 years. But she took me through so many initiations, that's what she would call them. And I realized in the past few months since I've retired from clinical practice, how important those things were. They were stepping stones. And with a stepping stone comes wisdom, failure, success, all that stuff just comes up for you to really see who you are and what you're made out of. And that's something I see with the newbie homeopaths. They don't really know who they are and they don't know what they're made out of. Because dealing with people's pain, suffering, trauma, and loss, it requires some level of grace. I
Mm,
don't know another word for it. It requires grace on our part to not judge, to not go too fast so that this isn't a silver bullet. Homeopathy
mm,
is not a silver bullet and it's not a quick fix. So we need to be strong enough to help people over the aggravations and the humps or whatever you want to call them that come up. But they come up in us too. How could they not?
mm,
And we become stronger. You've
mm,
really, I can't imagine what you were like in your 20s, but in your mid 40s, you're really formidable in a good way, in the best way. You've always got a smile on your face and you've
mm.
always got kindness in your voice. And I just want you to know how much I admire it. I've seen people in homeopathy that actually scare me, that terrify me. There used to be some amazing old homeopaths in the old days in the UK and South Africa that were terrifying, honestly. They were dragons. They were like dragons in the worst sense of the word. And some men, very formidable men, who just had, I don't know, a lack of warmth or a lack of connection, human connection. And you don't. You've got that so in place, Jenny, and I really want you to know I salute you for that. And you will create beautiful, beautiful homeopaths. It's like they're your new babies.
They are. It's actually, I am loving it. I am loving it. My mum was a teacher for 40 years
Oh,
before she
wow.
passed away. Yeah. So yeah, I've got a little photo here of her.
Hold it.
Yeah.
Oh, oh, that's
Yeah.
lovely.
Yeah, that's a
And
fun
those are your
little.
two kids, huh?
Yeah, but this photo was, what was that, 13 years ago now.
Oh.
Yeah, in New
So,
Zealand.
how do you feel
Yeah.
about leadership? I want to ask you that. How do you feel about stepping into this role?
Um, I think being an Aries as well, like I think leading comes naturally, but I don't think I've always done it in the best way. It's kind of been more like a maybe more of a forceful, like pushing kind of way instead of a, I don't know, collaborative way. So it's something that I thought I was good at, but I've realized I'm not. And that's why I've reached out. So this is the self-reflection part. I've realized that I need a lot of, there's a lot of, if I'm going to do it, I want to do it well. And so to do it well, I want to reach out to people that I look up to and that I see are doing it well and then just learn from that. I don't like making mistakes, so I'd rather talk to somebody who's already made the mistakes and I can learn from that. Although
Good for
mistakes,
you.
I love that saying as well, you never learn as much from your successes as you do from your failures. And that is so true. So I look at really great leaders, and it really is an art. I mean, I think it's an
It's
art
an
that we
art.
can
It's an art.
develop and grow. And that's the part that I'm excited about at the moment as I'm stepping. Well, I will, like I said to you before, I will always be consulting, and I hope to be consulting into my 80s, God willing. That would be amazing. But this new role of stepping into, as a principal of the school, it's a completely different skill set. And like I said, I say things and then I think later. So I said yes to CHE Australia, and then afterwards I'm like, oh my gosh, this is like completely different. What have I got myself into? And luckily it's too late for me to pull out now, so I have to like figure it out as I'm going. But I'm loving the journey. I'm really loving it. Also, just want to say when you said that word grace, so I've just recently started working with Reita Poyoinen as well, who I have so much love and respect for. That woman she's done the work. She's not afraid to go into the shadows. Her son passed away when he was 19 or 20. And it was only
Mm,
about 6 years ago or so. So she has, been to the depths and come out of it to teach all of us. But she's been a principal of a school for over 20 years, and she's gone through a lot. So I've been doing some mentoring with her as well. And one of the things we've been working on is grace. So I love when you said the word grace.
mm,
And she's had me work with Cygnus as well, which is a remedy I've prescribed. It's a remedy made from the swan. So if you want to
mm,
think about grace, I always think swans are so graceful. So yeah, I've prescribed that remedy plenty of times, but I've never taken it myself. So I took it. She made me make a little altar with, just various items on there on the altar with my birth chart there as well, just to
mm.
heal things and help me step into that space of grace. So, and if I think of you and if I look at you, I mean, you are the ultimate example of grace. Everything about you, you just ooze grace. I'm sure if we went into the Oxford Dictionary, looked up grace, it'll say Ambica Waters.
Sweetie,
So,
I live in Swan Lake Estates. That's where,
oh, of course you do.
and I live on a lake that's got swans and ducks.
Oh,
But the most
I'm
formidable
not
thing,
even surprised.
oh, it's funny that it's
Hmm.
funny. I love the word
Yeah.
grace because it really is about lightness, really being light and full of joy and laughter and ease. And when you have that kind of ease, people ease up and they're not so frightened and they're not so terrified and they give you the best of themselves. When you are in your grace, people will give you their very, very best.
Well,
And
you are a living example of that because as I'm sitting here, I'm thinking, I've probably told you a lot of things that I maybe shouldn't say in public, and I've just remembered this is recorded. So I'm like, I don't know what I want to say all that.
no, I
But
think it's
you've really managed to get the best out of me, that's for sure. Because
I always say
this,
that about you. You get
oh,
the best out of
it's,
me. You do.
uh,
You let me just give the best of myself to you.
oh,
And that's a skill, to feel at ease and to show people.
mm,
I'll tell you, a friend of mine is a former Jesuit priest. He said, my definition of insanity is the need to be perfect. And I thought,
Ah, yes.
that's right. We're all trying to be so perfect.
Uh-huh.
And we're not. We're not perfect.
Mm,
We have a lot of bumps and warts and freckles and,
mm,
imbalance in us. And to let that be okay, that to me is grace, to just
mm,
ease down and find a comfort level and watch people rise up to
mm,
meet the expectations of doing well.
mm,
We had a student when I was going into the fourth year. My college was a four-year college in the north of England. And we had this, I guess we were about 11 women and three men.
mhm,
There was one woman, she was anorexic, very thin, very fragile, very well dressed. She came from some level of prosperity that the rest of us didn't quite share. And when we started the fourth year, she wasn't there. She wasn't in the class. And somebody said, "Where's so and so?" And the teacher didn't say anything for a few minutes. And she said, her husband would not let her finish.
mm.
And there was
Wow.
this moment where it was like mourning a death. It was like mourning a death that somebody would have stopped her from finding a healing path for herself, as well as offering,
Mm,
help to other people. And I've often thought about, well, what happened to her in her life? What did she wind up doing? It was like a death. And I think there was a lot of grace that happened to that class that I was in.
mm,
We kind of consolidated because nobody wanted to fall through the cracks. We
mm,
wanted to make it. We wanted to give the best of ourselves to our teachers.
mm,
Something happened with that, and I think we
mm.
took a step up, but the sacrifice it was awful. It left such a bad taste in our mouth that somebody would prevent somebody from not fulfilling what they wanted to do. It takes grace to be a teacher, it takes grace to be a leader, and it takes grace to be a student and be humble enough to say, please teach me. I don't
Yeah.
know how to do this. How do you do it? Today I
Mm.
had my tech Stephen here. We have my first art show is Saturday and Sunday.
Your first art show? Surely
Well,
not.
I've shown in the past, but not for you.
Okay. Okay.
So we've got the pop-up tent, we've got the panels, we've got the art, it's all framed, everything's ready to go except for taking payment. And I said, I don't know how to do this, Stephen. So
Steven's a gem.
he had to show us. I mean, it was like being in the first grade. You do this and then you do that. It was all that tech stuff. And I thought, we need to be really humble because
Mm,
because I can do all the other stuff, but I couldn't grasp what he was saying. And if you get this kind of credit card, could you tap it? It's like, oh my God. So we're in learning mode right now. We're learning how to
mm,
get this right. And it takes a lot of humility to say, I'm not as bright as I thought I was, especially when it comes to this. Uh, but it's learning. I mean, we're all learning. And homeopathy is not written in stone, although I think in the old days, the classical ways, they thought it was written in stone.
yeah.
And you have certainly, with Homeopathy Unhinged, have really shown that there's a lot more to this medicine than meets the eye. It
Mm,
is not written in stone. It has a fluidity. It also has an evolution of its own. The remedies that have come up since the millennium are a whole new set of ways of looking at
mm,
healing, the meditative remedies for sure, and all the remedies that you've allowed people to share in your
mm,
podcast. It takes a humility and at the same time a level of grace of just accepting we're in a different time. We are really in a different time than when I
mm,
studied, 30 years ago, 35 years ago.
mm,
All the teachers were men, and now almost all the teachers are women, which I
mm.
think is
It
great,
feels like there's still so many male teachers. Like
I
I
guess.
have been thinking of how we can Well, it's funny, obviously, because many of the teachers are men, but the students are all female.
Mhm.
And I think with men's mental health these days, we really need some male homeopaths. So I've actually been thinking in my mind, like, how do we market this towards men? Because we really need some male students
You just
to come
marketed it
through.
right now.
Oh,
You
good.
let's get this out there.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It's a wonderful medicine for mature people. Can't
Mm,
be a kid and
mm,
do homeopathy as a
yeah.
professional. And like I said, Ian Watson, he was my first homeopath. It was like
Mm.
he gave me my first remedy, and I remember saying to him, "What is this? What is this?" He said, "Why?" I said, "Well, colors are brighter, the world is more beautiful. I
Oh.
feel more attuned. What is this?" And he just laughed. He just laughed. He was very good. But in my
Mm.
very first class at Regent's College in London, 99 women and one man in our
Wow.
class. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And the teachers were all male.
Mm.
But that one male, he was phenomenal. He was a medic with the British forces, and he was in Northern Ireland when the IRA blew up the barracks. And he was telling the story to 99 women the very
Wow.
first day. And he said, and I just went around and put arnica on everybody's tongue, and there were no deaths. And I tell you, he might have been the only man in the room, but we were bowing to him. I mean,
Wow.
his story was incredible. And that's where I met Ian. He was lecturing.
Mm.
Said, "I'm from the lakes. Anybody here from the lakes?" And I said, "I'm from,"
Oh.
and we were neighbors. I mean,
Wow. That's
yeah,
so crazy.
was really amazing. The
Yeah.
whole experience of training was mystical in its own way.
Mm.
I was telling somebody today, I do believe there's a great spirit of homeopathy, a great angel of homeopathy
Mm.
that is like offers a great umbrella to all of us. I feel that we are all called to it. If somebody doesn't like it or it's not their cup of tea, then out they go and they go very quickly. There are people that
Mm.
say, it's not for me. And they know that. The ones that stay and do the grunt work, read the books, do their due diligence. I do believe we are guided, deeply guided. We draw to us the clients we need, we draw to
Mm.
the teachers we need, the experiences that are going to make us mature and grow. I'm kind of in I don't know, it's a new stage in my life. Doing the art is something I've wanted to do my whole life and never really had the courage to do. I had to make a living, blah, blah, blah. There were endless excuses. And
Mm.
now the only excuse is you haven't got a lot of time, kiddo. You better do it now or you're never going to do it. But stopping the clinical practice was like this huge weight fell off my shoulders,
Mm.
this huge, that it, the responsibility and the fear that I
Mm.
wasn't doing it right was, okay, time to let
Mm.
go, time to let go. And I think if I could offer any advice to new homeopaths is do the inner work and build your confidence,
Mm.
build your self-worth,
Mm.
build your self-esteem so that, as Jung said, you have an ego that's as strong as steel against stone, that you
Mm.
know who you are. And we're not talking about egotism or narcissism, just we negotiate with the world with an ego.
Mm.
And you need those skills to be able to work with people.
Mm.
Because when people come and they're in pain and they're suffering or they've had horrible life experiences, you need to
Mm.
know who you are. You
Yeah.
don't bleed for them and you don't contract. You
Mm.
just hold your ground and be who you are in the best
Beautiful.
possible way. And then
Mm.
people are free, they're free to tap into their experience and let go of their
Yeah.
grief and their sorrow and their that endless release process.
Mm.
Growth on our part.
Mm.
I
I could
started,
not have said it better. That is so beautifully said.
thank
I
you.
just,
We started with 17 people in my last year. We wound up with 11. The attrition
ah.
rate in homeopathy in Britain was high, and I'm assuming it
Mm.
still is.
Mm.
But there were people who said, I don't think I can do that. I don't think I want to do that.
Mm.
I couldn't think of anything I wanted to do more, but yeah, you're going to bring some wonderful new energy into homeopathy with your school.
I'm excited about it. We've got, yeah, such beautiful students, and it's beautiful seeing the bonds that they've already formed amongst each other as well, and just their lust for learning, like it's their excitement, but also their because so many of them have listened to the podcast for, several years. And
And
so
that's
they
why
know
they want,
so much, but they know so much already. So I feel like I really have to stay ahead of the game too.
oh, I think that's, well, you do
Uh,
have to stay ahead of the game. What's work? Do you do have, are you online? Is everything online?
It is, but we do like there'll be some in-person stuff as well because half the students are here in Perth. So we will be having some meetups and doing some
Uh, uh,
triturations, like in-person triturations and provings and things like that as well, because
and you
that's what I'm
also,
all about meeting up in person. So I really, yeah, I'm looking forward to including that.
so will you take people from Europe and the States and Canada?
No, no. So that's the thing with CHE Australia. It's only
Uh,
in Australia and New Zealand. So when we do our live
oh,
tutorials, it's all in our time zone. But CHE in the UK, which is international, they obviously have students from around the world. But then Marcus is passionate about keeping it local. And so he is actually in the process now of creating like more hubs around the world. And
good.
actually, I should maybe put it out there. He's particularly looking for teachers in America to start hubs and in the different time zones because it's such a huge
Yeah,
market over there.
yes.
Yeah, he previously did have that. It was many years ago, but it didn't quite work out because it wasn't the right fit. But he does do a very in-depth, like psychological report before you join, which I did as well. So I was glad that I that I passed, which I think is very important because
Of
if you're
course
going to
you
do,
pass.
well,
Of course you
no, there's certain things that he was looking out for what would make a good principal, and also what would make a good collaborator because
Mm,
that's his intellectual property, his baby that he's had for 30 years. So
yeah,
handing that over to somebody else in a different country, that's a very
absolutely.
big
That's
thing to
right.
do.
Yes, it
And
is.
yeah, and so for him to hand that to me to be a guardian of that here in Australia was, huge. And he had to make sure that it was, the right person. But he is looking for that in different countries because he's so passionate about doing it in the same time zone and people meeting up together and having in-person things. Because if you don't, people just drop through the cracks. And I've seen that with
Yeah, they
other
do.
homeopathy
They,
schools that are purely online that don't have cohorts that go together. You can, and actually this, yeah, the schools that you can just join at any time and do things online. It really does work for some people. They love that, but mostly I see people falling through the cracks.
well, it takes a lot of discipline. It takes
Takes a
so
lot of
much
discipline, and some people
discipline.
have it and they love that, but
Yeah,
mostly, I think people need that sense of connection and sense of community. And so
yeah,
when you're going with a cohort and you're having live tutorials and you all meet up and you have that kind of accountability buddy, I think
yeah.
that's really important.
I agree. I agree. I
Yeah.
didn't realize that he had started the whole concept came from him. I have a lot of admiration for him. I see him on Facebook and he seems
He's
very grounded.
very grounded. Yes, absolutely. And beautiful energy.
I
Absolutely.
see that. I see that.
If you want to look at like the divine masculine and a man who knows who he is, and if you want to talk about that healed ego, that is Marcus Fernandez. And he's actually got a podcast called Beyond the Shed, which is for men and men's mental health. And he interviews
Wonderful.
people. One of the guys he interviewed is an incredible podcast. It's a guy who was in jail for many years for drug trafficking from a young age. I think he was in jail for like 30 years or something like that. And he
Ooh,
interviews this guy and the lessons that he's learned from that and how this guy then has gone on to mentor others and he's written a book and but he and yeah interviews men from around the world because he has recognized that men are in a really precarious situation at the moment. Like I feel us women have kind of like liberated ourselves and we're doing all these amazing things, but now it's the men's turn to kind of like step into their masculine because where it's almost frowned upon to be a man or to stand in your masculine or to be strong. And Marcus has got a 14, 15-year-old boy. I've got a 14-year-old boy. So we want to make sure that our boys grow into healthy men that are comfortable in their masculinity and know that it's okay. You know, the word toxic masculinity gets thrown around
It's a
everywhere.
horrible thing. That's
It's
the worst
awful
excuse in the
when
world.
we need men around us. You know, my husband is the most incredible man who loves his family, who carries me on his hands. I mean, that's a saying we say in Afrikaans. I don't know if they say that in English, but
Mm. It's
uh,
beautiful.
he carries me on his hands, and he is the protector of our family,
The
and
protector, that's absolutely right.
he
That's
absolutely is.
right.
And I call him my rock, and he really is
What
the
I
rock
call
of our
my
family.
husband,
So,
I
oh,
rock.
really? Yeah. I say well, rots is the Afrikaans word, so I call him my rots. Um, and I think my hope kind of for the future is that the men can find their way. I feel like us women have had our kind of time, and now the men need to find themselves and be okay with their masculinity and know how important it is in this world. And don't know how we got onto that topic, but I just
It's
feel that it's
really
something that's
important.
very important to say. And I feel that as we get more men learning homeopathy, that's going to help them in their own personal development and
Oh,
step into all of
absolutely.
that.
And a
Yeah.
way of really supporting women to,
Mm,
instead of being reactive to women's emotionality, realize that there's a remedy for it. It's like,
mm,
there's a remedy. Learn the remedies. Learn how to
mm.
use homeopathy. It'll spare you becoming reactive and getting sucked in to people's
Yeah.
stuff. I mean, yes, that word toxic masculinity is the worst excuse in the world for somebody not liking somebody's opinion or
Yeah.
somebody's choice. It's
Mm,
really, it's fatal. And
mm.
and people get really frightened when they hear that, well, I'm not toxic
Yeah.
masculinity, or I'm not doing that. It's just, oh,
Mm,
yes, I
mm.
agree. I I don't know if you saw the interview with David Lilly. He's 85 years old.
I need to go watch that. I saw that you did it, and yeah, I will
Oh,
absolutely go watch
it's
that.
extraordinary. It
Oh,
was an extraordinary interview in which he talked about how he was trained by spirit, through spirit. It's an incredible story of a doctor and a homeopath and an osteopath. His story was incredible, and I was thinking more men like David Lilly, more men like Harry
Ethan
Von
Hammond.
Day
Yeah,
and
that. Yeah.
Chris Fernandez. We need
Mm.
those men are they're models, just like you're a model. For young, you are a model for young women to see
Oh.
that you don't have to be mean, you don't have to be jealous, you don't have to take something that doesn't belong to you. Just by your presence, you win. You shine, you glow, you win. And I think I think you're the best that I've seen in this field, and I mean it. And I don't mean it.
You're so
I was
funny.
saying something to somebody
Oh.
the other day, and I said, I don't care how skilled a person is. If they don't have warmth, I'm not interested. I don't
Mm,
care what they do. I don't care if they're a brain surgeon. I don't
mm,
care if they're a homeopath. If they don't have soul warmth, I'm not
mm,
interested,
mm,
because it's that warmth. That's that warmth that invites you in a place of faith and trust that somebody is not going to do you harm.
mm. Thank you,
And
Ambika. That's
there's
beautiful. And
well,
and as you're saying that, like I'm taking it in, and at the same time just acknowledging that I'm a work in progress. And believe me,
we all
there's
are, my
still,
dear.
yeah.
We all are. But when you see it, you have to acknowledge it. When you
Mm,
see it, and you have to be able to take that kind of acknowledgement. All you have to do is just say thanks. Thanks.
yeah. Thank you. I
You're
am
welcome.
getting better at taking it in.
Take it,
Yeah.
because you're a model, and young women will see this podcast, and they'll say, I want to be what she is. I want to do what she does. I like that woman. I like her warmth
Mm,
and her smile and her goodness. That's what draws people in. It's
mm.
not about the power. It's not about the money. It's not about fame or
Just for
acclaim.
the record, don't do podcasting if you want to make money. It costs you a
Oh, I
fortune.
know, I know.
Please
Costs
don't.
me a
I know
fortune.
that
That's
it
right.
does. I've had people
That's
say to me
right.
in the past about, I'm like, no, you don't do podcasting to make money. You do podcasting to lose money. And
That's right.
actually, just once again, thank you to Marcus because I was going to cancel my podcast at the start of this year because of the cost. Like people don't know that it
Yeah,
costs
the
me,
cost
you
is
know, like
high.
$150 an episode to produce it for the
That's
editor
right.
and the so
That's
yeah.
exactly what it cost me. The same thing. And
Yeah.
I thought
And so
I was going to stop too. And then I was praying and I said, is there any value in doing the podcasts? And I got this, yes, do it.
exactly. That's why I keep going. Because, and when I say that cost, it doesn't actually include my time. You know, the emails that you send back and
Right.
forth to arrange it, but then also the time of sitting here. Like,
Oh, I
you
know.
could have been doing a consult right now, earning an income, but instead, so if you add that all, actually the monetary value is much more. But I have to say the the kickback of that has been, you could never measure that, like being able
No,
to
you
build
can't.
this
And you don't.
relationship with you, which is because of the podcast, or
Yes, that's
like
right.
the amount of people that have reached out and said they've started studying homeopathy because of the podcast, or the
I,
changes that you make that you could never actually measure the ripples that,
oh, you can't measure it.
yeah,
And the reward comes in a whole different way.
it
It just,
does.
I had to say, it's certainly not about the money. It's really about introducing somebody like you to a network of people who
Mm,
I get these feedbacks saying, thank you pardon me, thank you so much for this podcast. I learned so much. Or I
mm.
really admire that person. Or it's like, really? I mean, that somebody would even take the time.
It's so few people that
Write
take the
me.
time to tell you, but I tell you, when
Yes.
they do, it is the best feeling, and it gives you that, it's
Yes.
that fuel on your fire. Hey, I just, even just
Yeah.
like a little Instagram message here or there, or a little email, or somebody taking the time to tell you what
I know.
your work has meant to them. But also like our clients, like how often do we give somebody a curative remedy and they never come back and tell us? And maybe years later, you might be lucky enough to say, somebody might say, "Oh yeah, that remedy cured me, and I was a whole different person." But we don't take the time to tell people what they've done to us
Knowledge.
in our lives and acknowledge that. Yeah, I hope we do more
Acknowledgement
of
is,
that.
well, somebody once said, acknowledgement is power. Real
Mm,
ignorant to say thank you for who you are and what you've done is a
mm,
form of power. And I do believe that. Things have gotten so fast in this world and people kind of, they don't answer. Instead
yeah.
of saying, no, I'm sorry, this isn't what I want to do, they don't answer. Or I'm thinking, did I do something wrong? What,
Yeah.
it's just, it is how it is. So when you find somebody who glows in the dark because they've got that light and that beauty and that heart, I want to acknowledge it and I want to recognize it.
Mm,
And I think the podcast is a great way to do it. I do. I think that showing my network who you are
mm.
lets them see beauty and grace. And I think people must get a very positive, very deep sense of truth when they see you talk about yourself. You're open, you're transparent. We like to talk, you and I. We do. We
We do.
do like to talk.
We
Is there
do.
anything more you'd like to share to the world community about your work, what you do, and how you see your role?
I was saying to somebody the other day that I feel in a way I've kind of cracked cracked one aspect of life. There's many aspects. One aspect of life is, if you love what you do and you do it long enough,
Yes,
you will
yes,
have success. Whatever that means for you. Success means different things to different people.
I
But
couldn't agree
for
more.
me, it just was just not like with a podcast. It's in the top 1% globally of all podcasts in the
Wow,
entire
how about
world.
that?
So not in the health category or the alternative health category, or spirituality, whatever. It's in the top 1% globally of all podcasts. So you can go to this website
Bravo,
called, thank you, called
bravo.
listennotes.com, and you can type any podcast and then will tell you where it rates. And Joe Rogan is top 0.01% of all podcasts, and that's out of about 3.5 or 4 million active
Oh my,
podcasts. There's
really?
more than that, but a lot of, if you don't have 10 episodes or you haven't published in like a couple of years, then it's not an active podcast. So that's out of active podcasts. And
You must be very
so
proud
that,
of that, dear. You must be
I am
very,
now.
very.
It took me a little while, and we're about like we're heading up to 1 million downloads. So it's kind of heading in that direction. But that was just not giving up. And I think like with the homeopathy, I had established a practice in Tauranga in New Zealand, but then we moved to Auckland, and then I established a practice there, but then we moved to Perth, and I didn't know a single person in Perth. And it would have been very easy for me in any of those times to give up and go, oh, we'll just move to get, oh, I just have to start from scratch. But just not giving up. And I'll just credit this one to my mum. She showed me this image when I was still at school, and you can find it anywhere online. You can just Google. Oh, actually, I might just quickly see if I can find never. Well, you just Google "never give up," pelican and frog, and there's this image of a pelican eating a frog, and the frog is still hanging out of its mouth, but the frog is busy strangling the pelican. And it says never give up underneath. And my mum showed me that. Like I said, I was still in school, and now you can find it on the internet. But that's what I think of. And I think that with her as well. Just never give up. Like if this is your passion, if homeopathy is what you want to do, and you still have a day job or whatever, be brave, be bold. Like, don't give up with a homeopathy. Just keep going. Like, find ways to make it your full-time job or your career if that's what you want to do, or anything in life.
Anything in
Just
life.
keep going.
Love
Like
what you
I,
do.
and
Love what you do. Love what you
keep
do.
doing it, even if you can't be bothered doing it anymore. I think that's the main thing is put things in place to make it impossible for you to not do it. So I do that through batch recording, where it's the first Friday of every month. I batch record all my episodes, and then they're released in advance so that if I fall behind or if I get sick, there's always an episode going out so that you
Oh,
make
that's
it.
fantastic. You're very well
Yeah.
organized. That's beautiful. I love that you shared that because there was a point in homeopathy where I said, I don't think I can do this. I'd mortgaged my house 3 times to pay for my space.
Wow.
And I just thought, I think I'm just better off doing what I do, which was as a psychotherapist. I was good at what I
Mm.
did. So I dropped out of school, out of homeopathic college. And I worked in the homeopathic clinic doing therapy with people.
Wow.
So I was around it, but I, like, no, I just don't think it's for me. And then one night I had the dream of dreams that if I didn't go back into homeopathy, I was punishing myself, my deepest
Mm.
self. So when term came, I signed up again and I thought, okay, I'll tell you this one story. The fees were due and I just didn't have the funds. And I said, God, if you want me to be a homeopath, I need $5,000 in the next 3 weeks. And I let it go. And a very, very dear friend of mine, very dear friend, she called me up and she said, I've got something I want to give you. I didn't tell anybody about this. She said, here is, I can't remember, it was about a third of the money. And I said, what are you giving me this money for? She said, well, first of all, I think you need it. And second of all, I came into a windfall and I just want to share it with you. I said, well, that's
Wow.
lovely. Thank you so much. So then my aunt in America sent me the other third, which was a lot more than she would normally send me for my birthday. And I said, thank you so much. Why are you sending me this much? And she said, I thought you could use it.
Oh.
And the third was an 85-year-old woman who I knew in London, who I talked to often and saw whenever I went down to the city. And she said, I want to give you some money. And I said, well, she said, I think you need it. So but the
Wow.
angels let me tell you something. It came to exactly the exact amount of the fees, and there wasn't a dollar or a pound left over to buy a lipstick with. It right exactly what I needed. And I said, okay, I got the message. I got the message. And I never looked back. I never, ever looked back. And it was the making of me as a human being, as a woman standing on my own 2 feet and
Mm.
living from my own belief system about health and development and the goodness of homeopathy, the absolute goodness of it, that it does no harm and that
Mm.
it has it has the real secrets of healing built into it, that healing is not a physical thing, it's a totality, and it
Mm.
requires mind, body, and spirit. And that's what I love about it. And I'm very grateful that I stuck with it. But my dream, I tell you, it was like, if you don't do this, you will be violating your soul. So
Wow.
pay
That's a
attention to your
strong
dream.
message.
It was like, okay, I got the message. And I'm very grateful to homeopathy for the level of health and vitality I have in my life. And my husband's were, we just both of us recently turned 80. He's 81. I just turned 80.
Wow.
What would we be without homeopathy? And you're right. You can't give up. If this is something you feel
Mm,
your soul is asking you to do, the money will come, people
mm,
will come and teach you, you will find what you need. And one of the things I learned from my teachers is not to make it hard for myself, really develop self-care techniques,
mm,
plenty of rest, good food, exercise, meditation, prayer, just vacations when you need them, time off, time for solitude, time for friendship, time for family and relationships. Just learn how to take care of yourself. That is
mm,
the divine feminine that works in us. And the divine masculine is do not give up. Do
mm,
not give up. And we need that. We need both sides working within us all. Thank you
mm.
so much, my dear. I'm going to actually get in
Such a
touch with
pleasure.
Marcus and see if he'd like to do a podcast.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I'll flick you an email and I'll CC you too.
Yeah.
And
I
yeah,
want to
he
say
would be
thank
such a good
you.
one to talk to.
You're
Oh,
such a
such a
gift. You
pleasure.
are such a gift to the world. And it's really a pleasure to know you and call you friend and colleague.
Absolutely, Ambika. Thank you so much for this. And I can't believe my lucky stars to be in contact with you. I
Oh, thank you.
have
I
all
feel
your
the
books
same way
sitting here.
about it.
I've had a constant like red nose from like just feeling constantly teary chatting with you. I have all I don't think I've got all
Oh,
your
good,
books
good,
here, but I've got
good.
several of them here. I'm
Good.
loving your new Life Energy Medicine Bible, and I can't wait to have a chat with you on my podcast about that.
Thank you. I'd like to thank our guests today who've shared their experience, who have enhanced my life by developing skill sets and a vision of the world that is really expanded and I think beautiful. So thank you until the next podcast of Unscheduled Flights. Again, I'm your host, Ambika Waters, wishing you all the best.